what this stabilizing brace, which is depicted here, when attached here, it turns this weapon into an automatic weapon. It becomes a bump stock.
I urge him to get Wikipedia up as soon as possible. The internet is about to educate him.
Oh yeah, the internet is gonna have a really good time with this one. And by internet, I mean you guys, the people that are actually watching this, you guys are gonna have fun with this one. Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So you guys are about to watch a video of our legislators, our lawmakers, that is absolutely going to make your head spin. It is one of the greatest displays of ignorance that I have ever seen. And again, these are our legislators, our lawmakers. These are the people that are in charge of creating law and policy, and they have no idea what they're talking about. It is absolutely stunning. So let's just go ahead and get into it, and we'll talk a little bit about it as we go through.
Cicilline sick recognition.
I move to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I rise in opposition to the amendment. What this stabilizing brace, which is depicted here, when attached here, it turns this weapon into an automatic weapon. It becomes a bump stock. And so it will allow that to essentially be fired like an automatic weapon. That's the danger. So I have to very strongly oppose the amendment.
No, that is not what it is. That's not what it does. That's not how it works at all.
Seeks recognition.
I seek
My
recognition.
purpose is the gentleman from Kentucky seek recognition.
To strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
The Democrats are so zealous in their rush to ban everything related to guns and every gun that exists that I'm afraid Mr. Cicilline has his gun features mixed up. He just described the arm brace, which is used by people who have a handicap to help fire a pistol. He just described it as a bump stock. It's neither a stock nor a bump stock. And I think it's important that if you're gonna ban these things, that you actually understand what you're banning. That is the picture that he showed, everybody needs to know, is not a bump stock. It's an arm brace for firing a pistol from the wrist. And it's not made to increase the rate of fire of the firearm. It's not made to simulate automatic fire. It's made to stabilize the grip of a pistol. And that's all it does. I support this amendment. We can look over on the other side of the aisle. Hopefully they figured out what they're trying to ban. Ms. Fishbach is not trying to get an exception for bump stocks. She's trying to help the handicap and make sure that the Democrats are not banning an arm brace, which does nothing to accelerate the rate of fire.
Now, before we continue on with this, and there's a lot more to watch, it gets even better. Trust me, it gets really good. If you guys wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and check out the main sponsor of this channel, which is the USCCA. It's one of the best resources, one of the best memberships that you'll ever have with self-defense, liability, insurance, online training, education, and more. Again, the link's down below. So let's get to it.
Thank you, Chairman. I seek to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
Okay. I've had a lot of experience, and of course, working with gun safety experts and gun violence prevention organizations over the years, and I understand very, very well what this does, what this brace does. And that's the reason why we had a piece of legislation that would effectively ban bump stocks. And so what you're determining here is that you're trying to substitute using this piece here, that arm brace, as a means of saying that for individuals that have disabilities, this gives them more stability to be able to use the gun. But in fact, it can actually be used to help facilitate the weapon as a bump stock.
Now, I don't know if you guys heard that right there, but she basically says because she works with the groups that are trying to ban these things, she knows exactly what they are. It kind of makes her an expert, right? When you have a bunch of people that are scared of features and are going after something based on their features, then you are an expert on what those features are. Well, obviously, that's not the case because not at all what it is, but let's go on.
I thank the gentlelady for yielding. I just want to reaffirm what Ms. McBath just said. This stabilizing brace, when coupled with a buffer tube, operates as a bump stock. Bump stocks are prohibited in this legislation for all the obvious reasons. This is attempting to exploit a design flaw for persons with disabilities and use it to convert this into a bump stock, which will obviously make the weapon increasingly dangerous and easier for someone to fire. That's the reason this amendment should be defeated.
Well, I'm torn here. They have no idea what they're trying to ban. They've showed us a pistol brace. It is not a bump stock. It has never once on this planet ever been used to accelerate the rate of fire or simulate rapid fire. That's not what it does. But what he's showing us here is not a bump stock. Okay, do you concede that? Have you conceded
A bump
it
stock.
yet?
Finding exactly.
Yes, but your picture is not a bump stock. Her amendment does not, reclaiming my time, her amendment has nothing to do with the bump stock. That can't even function in your wildest fantasies as a bump stock. It doesn't work that way. These are two different stock. One's a stock and one's a brace. And
Time of the gentleman has expired. I recognize myself and yield to Mrs. Cicilline.
It's functioning as a bump stock because it's replacing the butt of the gun. It's operating as a bump stock. That's the functional result of it. And
the
I yield back,
gentleman
Mr.
yield. What does the gentleman think a bump stock does?
It's my time. I
All right.
yield it to Mrs. Cicilline.
But I have one question,
Mrs.
if I may.
Cicilline yielded back. I yield back.
Okay, you just got to stop now. You just have to stop. It's starting to become a little bit embarrassing.
Ask this. Would the Democrats be amenable to offering the gentlewoman's amendment if and when they find out that that's not a bump stock? Like if they could use Wikipedia or a picture or something here really quickly to understand that what she's offering has nothing to do with the bump stock, and it's only to do with stabilizing the grip and the grasp of a pistol for somebody who isn't otherwise able to do that. Ask this, would the Democrats be amenable to offering the gentlewoman's amendment if and when they find out that that's not a bump stock? Like if they could use Wikipedia or a picture or something here really quickly to understand that what she's offering has nothing to do with the bump stock, and it's only to do with stabilizing the grip and the grasp of a pistol for somebody who isn't otherwise able to do that. Would they be amenable? Would anybody over there be amenable if they found out, and you will eventually, the internet's gonna help you here in about 5 minutes, because you're gonna be famous. So the sooner you recognize that's not a bump stock, the better off we'll all be. But is anybody over there amenable to accepting her amendment if you do in fact find out that it's not a bump stock and her amendment has nothing to do with the bump stock?
The gentleman will yield.
I'll yield to Mr. Cicilline.
Yeah, no one, I don't know if you have not listened, but no one has said it is a bump stock. But what we are saying is it harnesses the semi-automatic fire's recoil and it operates like a bump stock because subsequent shots are then occur in rapid succession. That's exactly what a bump stock does. Those two features together create the same conditions. So if there were a way to ensure that only that shoulder piece was available to only persons with disabilities, that would be a different issue, but there's no way to ensure that.
Reclaiming my time, I yield to the gentleman from Kentucky.
Yeah, it seems like, so maybe you've conceded that brace isn't what's providing the dynamic motion, and you've somehow fixated on the buffer tube and the buffer and the spring that are contained therein. It's not some trick, it's not some gimmick, it's not a bump stock. And when you combine the buffer tube and the spring and the buffer inside of it with the brace that would allow somebody who's handicapped to fire that from the wrist, you're not creating a bump stock. And I'll yield back to the gentleman from Ohio. If he wants to yield to Mr. Cicilline, I urge him to get Wikipedia up as soon as possible. The internet is about to educate him.
So there was a video right there. If you guys made it all the way, congratulations. It was hard to watch for me. It was probably hard to watch for you as well. But one thing you really got to take away from this is that, again, these are the people that are making laws in this country. These are the people that are creating legislation that changes the foundation of the country. And they're willing to stand up on their block and speak out loud in front of the entire country, really in front of the entire world, since this is something that's on TV, and give incorrect information and show that they have not even a basic understanding or just basic knowledge of the actual functionality of something that they're trying to take away. They're trying to say that people shouldn't be allowed to have this because it does this and it does that, and we don't want people to have that capability, when it does absolutely none of those things at all. Nothing. It's for the disabled. It's for the disabled. It's stabilizing. That's all it does. If I'm in a wheelchair, I don't have the muscle mass, I don't have the dexterity, whatever it is, if I'm somebody who is disabled and needs that, it provides me the stabilization that I need. That's all it does. It has no other function than that. It doesn't, move or do any of the things that they said it does. So just everybody out there, you guys who have that common knowledge, right, that understand what it is, you're the internet, and you guys saw firsthand that these are the people that are creating the legislation and laws in this country. They're absolutely clueless and have no idea what they're talking about here. So just another example I wanted to show you. Thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell notification. A like would be fantastic. Check out the USCCA, and you guys have a great day.